starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We are in the building.
Yes.
All I heard MVP in the background. But I can't hear anything.
Yeah, niggas, I can't hear nothing. It's the intro, cuz.
I had licked away. I didn't even know the intro was playing at first. But that countdown's too long, son. 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'd have clicked off.
Nah, you gotta get your shit right.
You gotta get together. You gotta
get your shit right. 10 seconds.
I'm crying. I'm crying.
ADHD life.
Man, I started the pod 3 minutes earlier than scheduled, man. That's it, man. But gentlemen, man, I'm happy to see you guys. I know it's been a while. I know we live in life. So before we get into anything, you already know how we doing. How y'all doing, man? How we?
I'm all right. You know, I'm just been here working every day. Football. That's it. Working football.
Well, yeah, I'm good. You know, working, family, music, other shit. Yeah.
I'm about to become a rapper.
Nigga said I'm about to become a rapper.
Yeah, I'm crying. He said that shit like it was easy. Nah, you know, same old for me, man. You know, work, family, same old shit. Just happy to be alive. Another year, another dollar. You know how it goes. So, and you know, obviously, as you guys can see, Sway, he is not in attendance today, but that's a-okay. He still has
he is in attendance because we got some video with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
He think he's slick.
Bro, look at the picture, bro. Sway, nah. Sway
that's him, bro.
You know, it's funny. I keep saying Sway is MIA, but MIA is short for Miami.
That's what I'm
in Florida. Yeah, this is crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Double entendre.
He in Florida for real. He in Florida for real.
A double entendre.
Yeah. But look, speaking of Florida, let's get right into it. You know, obviously, I'm gonna let you know what MVP Dice. I'll let you guys. You know, you guys put me onto this, so I'll let you guys get into this one here. But your boy William McNeil,
William Sway McNeil. William Sway McNeil.
Yeah, bro, he looked like him, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Not to even make a light of the situation, but Sway, you look like him, bro.
Doppelganger.
I legit thought when y'all sent me that it was Sway in the car, just minding his business, bro. And I'm like, oh, he got a case.
That randomly
got a case.
That's all I said. Like, yo, I locked in middle of the night. I watched, like, I'm talking about like 1 a.m, and I clicked on it, and I'm like, Sway. And then all I seen was the windows being broken. I'm like, oh, he got a case. That punch through the window, I said he got a case. Until I'm like, oh, Sway don't have hair anymore. That's not Sway. Like, I had to really lock in. But anyway, I'll let y'all dive into it, and then, you know, I'll share my thoughts when the time is right. But so kind of walk me through this process. I'm late to the story.
So basically, it's a they doing traffic stop. The dude, let me see how can I explain it? So it's a traffic stop. They claimed that his headlights wasn't on in the car, but the thing is daylight, and also they claimed that it was like, oh, it's raining, but you can see in the video it looked like it was raining at one point, but it stopped. So and then they try to put a claim like, oh, he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I think he had a seatbelt on, maybe, or whatever, because when he turned to the cop, he couldn't really see it. And then things pretty much just escalated from there. You know, the dudes asked to see the supervisor or whatever, and like they just going back and forth. The dude reacted when he noticed that I guess the officer wasn't like necessarily like calling the supervisor, like doing his job or whatever.
Yeah,
so
was taking no action.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I skipped that part. So he had popped his door open, but he was saying that because his window's broken, so he ended up closing the door. And I'm pretty sure that was because of he was in fear of his life. You know, like cops out here be bodying niggas and whatnot. So
Oh man,
Yeah.
I seen that. I seen. You guys sent like 3 video. You sent the body cam video, and then you also sent like his own personal video. So yeah, no, I see what you're saying. No, for sure.
Yeah, bro, that right hook though. But no. On a serious note, they took it a little too far, right? But they claiming that dude basically was resisting arrest. I mean, it's hard to resist arrest when you don't know if you're being arrested or if you're being detained. He asked that question a couple of times. Am I being detained? They just kind of was, blowing past that, just wanting to get the response that they wanted to get out of the situation. And then escalated from that point. But after it escalated, what seems to be the issue is this person kind of went back. The William McNeil guy went back and made it seem like it was partly his fault.
Really?
How so?
That part. Well, go ahead.
No, he basically just switched up like kind of what he was saying. Well, or what the video said. It's kind of like it was weird.
You think he was paid off or something? Like that's how you feel? Like he was like
I don't know.
I mean, if he's taking accountability on what he could have done better in this situation, that I'm big on accountability. So if I know I was acting out of emotion, like emotions got the best of me, and I kind of like made my situation worse in a way where maybe, hey, I didn't have to do that. But I didn't see that aspect of it. But what I did see is what you guys sent me, and what I will say on there is just, regardless if they had a right to arrest him or not, to do whatever they had to do, I just felt like the force was extremely excessive. Like it's one thing to like here's my thing, right? You're trying to get him out of the car, you can't get him out of the car. Whatever, you got to do what you have to do. You break the window, you in now. You have full access to him. You ask to see his hands, he shows you his hands. All you really got to do at this point, what they did, they took off the seatbelt, and I'm removing the violence. I'm removing what they actually did, right? Take off the seatbelt just the way that they did anyway. Open the car door and take them out of the car, just like you. But I feel like once you broke through the window and that punch to the face immediately, that was just frustration. Like he was making you guys work really hard to get him out of that car, and that was just pure frustration. Egos were bruised. Like I'm the cop. Like you're supposed to do what I say. You made me work this hard, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Like that was just more of a personal, for me at least. Like because it's not like he was resisting once you cracked the windows open. If he was like still trying to resist, like maybe throwing his own punches or something like that, I would have understood. Yeah, right. That's what at least what I'm seeing is fine. He made you guys work hard. Fine. He wasn't complying, but that built up frustration in those police officers. That's how I'm taking it. Because once you broke the window, you had access to him. You took off the seatbelt. You was able to pull him out of the car easily. It wasn't like a struggle. So I didn't understand the I'm gonna break your window, and then I'm gonna throw a fist in there while I'm at it, right? Because that was just, you made me work too hard, right? That's ego. Then you pull him out of the car. You stand him up. Easy. The dude is not heavy. You could tell he's not a heavy set guy. You got 4 buff cops out there holding a vest, muscular, in the gym 24/7. You got 4 of them versus
eating donuts and shit.
Right, bro. He's not a physical, and this is not to make light of him, but he's not a physical threat. But you had 4 super strong cops out there. You have him. You got him. Looking at his dash cam, you have him. That right hook, the uppercut, why? You already punched him in the face when you broke through the window. Yeah, like I just feel like that was just pure frustration. That was excessive. That's called excessive force. You didn't need to. Once you broke the window, you got him out the car easy, but you wanted to throw a quick punch in there before pulling him out the car, and that wasn't enough for you. You were still frustrated. So once he was out in the open with you guys, and his hands is behind his back, you want to throw an uppercut? Like, why? What was the purpose of that? So that, for me, that's what I took. Whether the cops were right or wrong, that is not what I'm even going to look at. I just feel it was the ego, the excessive. Like we gotta that has to be removed. Like you're a cop. I understand it's a high stressful job, but we gotta have composure out here. Like your job is far too. What's the word, gentlemen? I don't know. You can't have someone that loses their temper, their cool very easily be a cop. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, you got to keep your cool.
But I would add on to the fact that like I've seen traffic stop video clips or whatever before. I've seen people not open the car door, roll down the window, show identification and all that stuff. And that person would also ask for a supervisor. And those cops would call down their supervisor, and then they would sort out the situation from there. And to me, that's what the dude was doing. He was asking for a supervisor. I don't believe that it should have even escalated to that point where you had to beat the shit out the nigga or whatever the case is just to arrest them or whatever the case is. Like, you should have just called down your supervisor and y'all just have that conversation. If y'all just go and stop him for like his, and this is all over for just the headlights not being on the car. Like, for what? Like,
made them work. Made them work.
Yeah. But I like, honestly and truthfully, like, we know they like to take it far, and for whatever personal reasons it was. But this situation looked like he's a police officer now. They jumped him in. He got jumped in. Nah, bro, he got squared in, my boy. It's no way. It's no way. Like, how do you see that from a perspective as a police officer doing your job? Do you think that that's cool, right? And then a police officer that was black that was there, like, he just kind of like was as aggressive as the rest of them was. You feel what I'm saying? He caught a couple rib shots on a takedown. I peeped all of that, bro. It's like, what we doing here, right?
Yeah, the extra hits in there. You got them. There's 4 of you guys. You bring them down to the ground. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't that deep. It wasn't.
You gotta imagine as if that's your kid. Basically, to me, in my point, like, imagine that's your kid being stopped for a regular procedure that escalated and to that and shit like that. Like, you would be upset that whole situation even took place. You wouldn't want no other person doing that to your kid, whether they're a cop or not. If your kid have not committed any crimes, which he haven't done. So,
concussion,
chip tooth.
I think chip tooth, and I think what else was it? There's one more thing.
Stitches on the lip because his tooth went through his lip.
And bruised ribs.
Bruised ribs and all that. I mean, look, it was all unnecessary. How I'm comparing that, like I said, police just, if you want to be a police officer, if we're going to hire police officers, there has to be more mental tests, whatever it is, under high stressful situations. You got to be able to keep your composure. You got to be able to, I understand he made you guys work really hard to get him out that car, but you allowed your ego, your pride, whatever it was, to make you overreact. Because once you had him, you had him. I don't think once you did all the extra, even if you were, here's the thing, even if I saw that press conference where the cop was basically saying like, yeah, it was a justified arrest. We reviewed everything, blah, 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 blah. Even if you had a reason to actually arrest him, what I'm saying is, fine, the reason you to arrest him was cool, but the excessive force, explain that. Like, was that necessary? The punch, if you wanted to make him pay for making you work, you already did that when he was in the car. So the extra outside of it was just, again, for me, frustration. It's not being able to keep your cool. You're not in control of your emotions. Your ego is in the way of that, and you wanted to show him who's boss.
Yeah, but it's a lot of them are not like, they don't move like men. You're very, very emotional, bro. Like, not only that,
right?
You know how the levels can like jump dealing with other men. You say the wrong thing, that doesn't really matter what your authority is. Like,
right.
That's why I feel bad for cops sometimes. Like, y'all get caught up in this idea of being able to talk to people any type of way. You do realize that another person is a human and they don't care if you're a cop or not. Like, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. You gonna get me after, but you gonna get this work because you talking to me from man to man and you being disrespectful. A lot of them do that, and a lot of people in authority positions have a habit of doing that instead of speaking like with people. They speak at them.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they always say cops are people that were bullied as kids, because now they're in this position of authority. They don't know how to act with that. You get what I'm saying? Like, to your point, they don't know. They feel like they can speak, but like you said, that was a great point. From a man's perspective, I can have any conversation. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, how heated the situation is. If we're having a conversation, we can have it. But once you talk at me, once you start coming at me in a way where it's like, okay, like, I'm trying to resolve it, but you're getting disrespectful. Cops do have to understand that too. That's actually a really great point. Honestly, they get too crazy with it. And again, that's just abuse of power. You know, maybe as a kid, that's why they have that reputation. Like, you as a kid, you didn't get no girls, you was bullied, and now this is your opportunity to stick it to people. Like, and it's funny when people make jokes like that, but it's like, really, like, did y'all really have to do that to him? Not really. But he made y'all work. He didn't comply. But it's like also too, and I'll let you have this after this, MVP. A lot of these cops, right? And this is for me personally. As a man, if you know you're not about that life, and this is what I mean by that, a cop has all the weapons he needs, batons, guns, tasers, has like 6 other cops right there with him, and it's a lot of trash talking, right? But what if they didn't have all that? Would they have that same energy, right? Typically, I know cops where they work, they don't live where they work, right? Theoretically, that's for safety purposes. But what I'm saying is, like, if you know you're not even like that naturally, if you was by yourself one-on-one, would you be pulling up to someone's window, dragging them out, trying to punch? Like, if you, and that's the other thing too, like, you Mr. Tough Guy because you have everything around you. There was a video of a cop that actually stopped a fist fight somebody. He was like, all right, cool, I'll put the gun away. That was, for me at least, I respected that. I was like, he
man to man.
He's like, all right, you want me to arrest you this way? He put the gun away, put his fist up, and they fist fought. And he
that's
you
a
know,
real.
but at least you could tell he's about that life, regardless if he has cops around him. Like, but I feel like a lot of those cops, man, they're not built like that. You take the weapons away, you take all that stuff away. They're not like that. So for me, it's just an ego thing. At least that's where I'm going with it. But go ahead, MVP.
I wanted to just say, just put a L in the chat for the officers that handled that situation, and play that donkey.
Don't get sued now.
He said, "Play that donkey." Back on up, buddy. Back on. Back on up.
That was Breakfast Club.
Don't get sued now.
Nah, buddy. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like cops maybe they need some type of better training. I don't know what training that they doing. I always said maybe if they did some type of military training, maybe that situation might lessen. Like, we won't have too much of these weird confrontations where cops will feel scared or threatened in their lives or whatever and abuse their power. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say for it. It's just a unfortunate situation.
Well, there is a video that came out with William, the victim. I'm gonna call him the victim in this, actually speaking out. But if you guys wanted to add anything before I do that, or we could just get right into it.
Well, I think the last thing that I was gonna say was, I don't think a lot of this shit gonna stop until a lot of them start getting followed home and shit. When people get so irritated, so like mad, and like we just tired of this. You know what? All right, cool. I'm gonna catch you, and we gonna follow you. This is not good. This is not gonna be good on either end. But it's just one of them type of situations that, y'all pushing it too far.
Which
too far, bro.
Huh? You talking about vigilantes?
And this is what I'm saying. The way that they are moving and the way that they are operating is going to create a system of that, whether they like it or not. And I don't know what just happened. That was some weird ass twist, bro. Like, you seen that? Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. This nigga sway, bro. This nigga sway, son. Everything is being blamed on this nigga, bro. This nigga sway, bro.
So I always say that too, man. That you know me, I'm heavy on the comic books. That these, like, this is why vigilantes exist in that world. But in this real world, here's the thing, like, the way, and you can't control the way anyone reacts to a situation. So it's like, to your point, it could lead to a dangerous path because people are gonna start feeling like, okay, look, this dude got his butt whipped for no reason, and then here's a press conference talking about it was justified. Like, that's not gonna sit right. Like, you could say you had a right to arrest them, but the force was unnecessary. Like, I feel like if they start coming out with the, yes, this is what we did right, but this was the opportunity, and those officers will be suspended for that. So, like, it's because it's always because the victim is just, oh yeah, it was justified, and then these guys get to go to work, earn their paychecks, and have a nice day, and you in the hospital, broken arm, broken ribs, your tooth in your lip. and then you don't feel like you got justice. And guess what? That's where that villain arc starts. Literally, that's how it starts. Like, so you don't know how anyone is gonna react, and obviously we don't promote violence at all. But it's like, listen, like it is what it is. We got to start holding people accountable. So let me let's switch over.
Get into the clip.
Yes, sir. Nah, I ain't gonna do you like that. Dice. Look how they doing you dirty. Nah, let me take that.
Nah.
So yeah, I just found this video. So it's 4 minutes long, so it's gonna be real quick. But let's see what they had to say.
Strike this nigga swear out.
We're joined now by William McNeil and his attorney Harry Daniels. We thank you both so much for joining us tonight. William, let's start with you. Walk us through what happened and what led you to turn your camera on and start filming on your phone.
Well, the officer put his hand on his gun and
come on, Sway.
closed my door and started recording. Did what was best.
He sound like Sway.
Yeah, so
They said your headlights were not on and should have been on in what they described as inclement
It's
weather.
because y'all say he sound like Sway.
But there are those people who would say, hey, why not just cooperate when they're pulling you over?
Huh?
Why lock yourself inside the car and refuse to get out initially?
that's why I felt safe at. I wasn't going to get out the car because my head during the daytime. And then you put your hand on your gun and reach out for me. I fear for my life. And I know how officers of JSO are towards black men here in Jacksonville.
What went through your mind at that moment when the deputy broke your window and punches you in the face as you sit in the car?
Why? The one with the glasses too, see?
And he's still complying.
I grew up being told that officers protect us, but that wasn't the case.
How did you feel when you heard the sheriff say that the state's attorney's office found no criminality in the deputy's actions?
I haven't been listening to the sheriff.
Mr. Daniels, your reaction?
My reaction to no criminality is it's not shocking, not surprising by JSO. As William put it, JSO has a history of brutality against African-American males. We have represented multiple people against JSO, and it always starts some type of pretext or stop, like a seatbelt infraction, which is a civil violation, $15 fine, and in some cases leading to young men being killed, some been savagely beaten. So I echo what William was saying, who's afraid of JSO. JSO has a brutal history of treating young African Americans very harsh and using unlawful use of force. To the prosecuting office not bringing criminal charges, it's ridiculous.
And Mr. Daniels, you have said that you plan to file a lawsuit. When do you expect to take legal action, and what do you hope to see ultimately as the outcome?
Well, we are in the process of taking legal action, not just taking legal action in a civil matter. We also seek redress from the Department of Justice. I know that may be shocking to some due to the current administration, but nevertheless, we're going to move formally request the Department of Justice to come into this particular matter, and we'll see what happens.
William, you said earlier today that growing up as a black man, you learned not to fight officers on the streets, but to fight in court. What kind of outcome are you hoping to see ultimately from a lawsuit?
The outcome that we all hoping to see, justice, justice for all black men, across America, across the world. It happens not just here, but everywhere. I'm not the only person this doesn't happen to. It's far worse has happened.
What would justice look like for you?
Fighting for what's right, better training of our officers, and better
right too. Because you know what they're looking for.
Has this impacted your outlook on police?
Him to say money.
Has it impacted you emotionally?
You didn't say the money. Yep.
Emotionally, I have mixed emotions. I'm terrified of police currently. Anytime I see a cop, I really just don't want to be around them. Sometimes I get angry when I see a cop, but I don't let that affect me daily. I don't drive anymore, and that's pretty much it. No, I barely can sleep. That is another thing. Yeah, I can barely sleep. I get like 2 hours of sleep a night. I have flashbacks and nightmares.
Drag that hell yeah, my boy.
William McNeil,
I
Harry
see you,
Daniels,
Sway.
we
That
thank you
nigga
both
getting-
so much for your time. Really appreciate
This
you
nigga not
joining us
playing.
tonight.
He got a good lawyer too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
My nigga Sway.
Nah, I feel.
We are tracking that
Oh,
bombshell Wall Street.
no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Nah, she said she got something else to say. She said, I got more news for you.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not gonna do that.
Milk box.
But I do like what he had to say on that. I think it was important that he didn't say money because it's so easy to be like, yeah, the money, but the money isn't the most important thing. I like that he spoke about wanting to see police training. For me, that's honestly, that's all that it really is, man. Like, listen, cops, I get it. It's tough out there. Your job isn't easy. You're putting your life on the line. People giving you a hard time for simple things. I get it, but your number one, like, part of that responsibility, you got to be clear-minded. Like yes, if we're giving you a hard time, allow us to be irrational. You are in a position where you cannot be irrational. You have weapons. You can't be in that state of mind where you're like, oh, you're not listening to me, I'm gonna teach you something. Like, it can't get to that point, because to his point now, he don't feel safe around cops, and that's not to even make a joke. That's a villain arc. That's how it starts. It's like, yo, I can't sleep. I'm 2 hours of sleep. I don't really like to be around cops. I'm scared of them. So guess what? Now when he's in a situation, we're supposed to be able to pick up that phone and go 911, come help. But people don't really. Right, like, all right, like, come help. But now I feel like I gotta come help, but let me stand outside, broad daylight, hands in the air, like, hey, I'm the victim. I need help. Come help me specifically. Right. So it's just like, we shouldn't have to do all that extra. But yeah, I like what he had to say about it. I don't think it's right that there's no that they're not pressing charges. I think for the excessive force, there should be something there for sure.
Well, I think they're just gonna find a way to kind of like brush it down, and I think, to be honest with you, they're hoping for Trump to speak on it and like downplay it enough that I guess his fan base comes in and starts to, I guess, create fear for the boy to not go further. But let's see what happens, because I think that's exactly what they're hoping for, especially the police. I think they knew what they were doing, and like the lawyer said, they know the current president and how he moving. So
right,
I don't think this is the end of it.
How you feeling, MVP?
I want to talk about the part where he's like saying being fearful. I don't think we're supposed to be fearful of cops. There's supposed to be people that we supposed to go to when they need help. They're in control of either escalating a situation or de-escalating a situation. I just feel like that. I just feel like I said, it's just, I don't know what type of training that needs to be done, anything to improve the situation. You're not supposed to put fear on the people, because people going to react in a certain way, and then you're going to react off of how they're reacting, but they're reacting because they're scared of you. You got your gun. You think they got a gun or whatever, so you end up shooting them. Now that person is dead. It's just one thing that leads into another. It's like a domino effect, So yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about that. It's just an unfortunate situation. Hopefully, maybe in the future we can do better. I don't know about that President Trump part, but yeah.
Right. De-escalation is the key word there that you said. That's what their primary focus should always be. It doesn't matter what the civilian is doing. You are paid, you are trained, you should be trained. Your primary function, and the key word that you said, is de-escalation. You should be de-escalating.
That's the first thing you're supposed to do
at all times. And whether you think someone has a weapon or not, I understand that's a completely different situation, because now your life may be on the line. But again, that's what all that training is for. It's to de-escalate and try your best to avoid the situation, right? We don't want to see anyone die. So another thing that he also spoke about too, like, where she asked him was like, how do you feel about cops? She was saying like he was raised to, not argue with cops in the street, but argue in court. Like, who taught him that lesson, right? Was that his? That sounds like a father to son conversation to me, personally. It's unfortunate that we even need to have a conversation like that in general. Like, hey, when you go out there, be wary of the cops. If you do see a cop, that's crazy. Like, again, that leads into something else. But hopefully it works out for him in the end. But yeah, I think that we can move into the next topic here. Unless you guys have anything else you want to add.
Nah, I think that's pretty good for that topic. I think we hit all cylinders.
Get Jacksonville, the biggest donkey. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you got this. They don't care how small the
platform
is.
Me, son. That's crazy, son. It can't be.
It won't be Charlemagne. It won't be Charlemagne, but
yeah, it won't. It'll be his lawyer.
That's a fact. But yeah, no. When he said that really triggered this topic for us here. At least for me, it's a good segue. And the fathers are needed, man, especially in a situation like that, and for multiple reasons. But again, I'll let you guys take the lead with that, and then we'll get into it because I know you guys sent some information to me, so I'll let you guys lead, and then I'll jump in.
Basically, what this situation is about, I believe this is a single mother who posted something, and she was basically saying she's did it thus far, and I believe she mentioned that she also was raised by a single mother and she was able to do it. And she don't believe that fathers are needed. And then there was a young gentleman who just comes in eloquently and just lays down a format of how that just doesn't quite make sense. And when, let's say, that's promoted or it's insinuated into your young men who sees that as basically it's like something you might not want to be because everybody keeps saying that it's not needed. If you're saying that a man is not needed, would you actually want to grow to be a man? What makes you take the steps to actually become a better man if you see those exist and still don't get the respect, right? And then he was breaking down, he breaks it down a whole lot more. I mean, to the bone. Yo, shout out to dude, because he definitely broke that down perfectly, bro. That's a fact. He went crazy and nah, he's right. But he didn't offend. He didn't attack. This wasn't any type of repel or anything. It's just, what you're saying is not right. And let me explain to you how. Because I was a young black man, the guy who was raised without a father figure and still made it to be perfectly fine and emotionally intelligent, mentally stable, handled myself perfectly well. So, it's interesting. I just like his outlook, and I think that it speaks from a lot of men who are quiet about that. You don't necessarily fight about it. You don't, go back and forth about it, but you just know what it is.
No, yeah. I agree with all of that, brother. Not much really too much debate on there. I think again, this ties into the emotions. People get into their feelings, and for me, when I see videos like that, something I've been telling myself for years, I'm still trying to perfect, no one is perfect, but it's get to the point where you're listening to listen opposed to listening to react, right? Where you hear something that triggers you and you immediately just want to start, addressing it, but it's just like, hold on, simmer down, wait and listen. I think a lot of us as humans, we just listen to react sometimes. So a lot of the signals get mixed. And as to your point, the video that we're talking about, wish I had it, but it is what it is. Essentially, the way that he approached, and again, he listened to her. Clearly, he listened to her and he gave her a response in a way where it's like, you can't even be mad at his response. Even if you don't like the answer he gave, the energy that he delivered it with. But for her, it was essentially like, hey, I'm a single mom. And some man is telling me that, hey, it's great, you're a single mom, I'm pretty sure you're doing a great job, but your child would benefit if the father was around. It's crucial. And I guess she just felt like, no, it's not needed, right? But realistically, the person that was telling her this, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, was a man himself that was raised by a single mother. So he's coming from a place of speaking from experience, right? And that's what the guy highlighted, like, hey, that's someone that grew up in a single mother household, and he's telling you from his experience, and maybe she felt attacked, which obviously led her to making that video in the first place, right? When you feel attacked, now you want justification for your behavior, and there's going to be a ton of women that come up and be like, yeah, but in reality, if that's a man telling you like, hey, as a man that grew up with a single mother, I wish I did have my dad around, because there's certain things that only a father can teach. It doesn't really matter. We got to remove the emotions out of it. It's just, hey, there were certain things that only a dad can teach me: how to move in a certain situation, how to regulate my emotions, how to act. And again, when you grow up in a single mother household, sometimes when you don't have that, you move in a certain way, because we move off of our experiences. We're children, right? We're molded as kids. So I love the way that he put it together. And essentially, that's just really what it comes down to. Listen, a child needs both parents. Like, we got to remove this whole situation where like, oh, I don't need no dad and I don't need no mom. Like, whoever is, and it goes for both sides, right? Like, listen, the child needs the mom. Mom is nurturing and all that great stuff. Dad, protector, provider, strong. They need both sides, whether that child is a male or a female. But more specifically, if we're going to talk about a male, they definitely need their dads, So I think we just got to move away from that. That's just messy. It's toxic. I don't know how we've gotten to this point. I think it's a lot of emotions. A lot of people's feelings are hurt. But we can't sit here walking around saying that child don't need their father. To me, that just doesn't make sense. A child needs both parents. So that's where I am with it when it comes to that.
It's poison.
I would say that a decent two parent household will always outcompete a single parent household, in my opinion. Right. I think a father is definitely important because there's structure, and I know you're saying like for boys, but I think also for girls as well, because a father would be able to tell them and guide them in certain things, like, oh, watch out for these type of guys, and here's the reason why, or maybe he was like that one day, give his experience in life. And when you are able to equip your kids with the knowledge and your experience in life, and hopefully they could take that and then they will be able to develop even furthermore in their lives, and not possibly fall into hopefully they don't fall into the same mistakes that you're doing. I think for me, like, to have a father, because I grew up without my father. I had a stepfather, but I had other people around me, so thankful for that. And having these other people around me help develop me also along the way. There's just certain experiences that you not necessarily, I feel like you won't necessarily get from a mother, or should I say you will get a different experience with a mother.
There we go.
As opposed to a father, because like, I mean, like, guys, we go through certain things, and like, I was thinking about it in a way like this, in a simple way, right? Say like you sitting down on the couch one day or whatever, and there's something that happened to you that may happen to only guys, only popped up in your head. That is a story that you can share with your kids. As for women, I feel like women lives a completely different lifestyle, so they probably won't be able to what's the words I'm looking for, incorporate all of their experiences, except probably maybe more towards the daughter, because there's more closer relationship. They won't be able to incorporate all the experience into their children the same way. Mothers, I know, have a tendency to be more enablers in a way. Not all mothers, so no one shoot me, please.
A little softer. Yeah, certain keywords will trigger. Moms are softer, right? Dad's bringing that structure. Like when mom is like, all right, I'm gonna go call your father. That's when they know to tighten up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or even, my bad. Yeah, and even like in certain experiences, like I was with a friend, and she had a sister's son. Her sister's son was trying to climb on top of the couch. It's like a little baby, right? And he kept on trying, and I'm sitting next to him. I could have helped him up, but I was letting him go through that moment to build up on experience. So like, don't quit. I was telling him, yeah, keep trying. I was guiding him to try harder and don't give up. And she came over and just picked him up and put him on a chair. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I know you should probably do that, but I ain't like to see him suffer like that or anyway. I was like,
they're nurturing. That's their nature.
Yeah. So, you would definitely get different experiences between a mother and a father. I think both parents are very important. Father is definitely important to help build that structure.
That's actually very good, yeah.
For me, I think is a big part that kind of goes over people's heads. Now, MVP, you said you was raised by a single mother, and I can say the same thing. And my father was in my life, but it's just within the household I'm speaking about. So this is day-to-day things, right? Okay, so I personally don't like the reference where the mother will reference to the father as the one to keep the kids in check, especially the boys. The only reason why is because when the father's not there, or the threat of the father is not primitive, it's not right there, the kid's still going to do whatever they're going to do, and the mother's not respected. Okay, when it's flipped and the father is taking care of the kid and is not being affectionate enough to be able to get through to the kid in regards to the mother, go to your mother for that. You are losing a connection with the child of emotion, and the more emotionally stable that you are, you can help the child become more emotional stable, right? So I feel like there's a part in that is not looked at right, because for me, like, I had a beef with my mother at a certain point, and it happened at that threshold of 13, 14. Okay, I need this. I really need this, and I'm willing to do whatever for it. Can you help me with this? No. Cool. I respect you enough that I'm not going to do anything or keep this away from you, but I'm about to go do something else that potentially is going it's not going to make you look good, right? It's not going to be in the best eyes. It's not going to be in. Now, it could have been where somebody could have stepped in and just been like, you need something that's like more structure, at which, yeah, you can make you a little extra money. You can do a little, be fly, but you need something that's going to help build towards more, right? At which that can prevent all the year of running the streets, the 2, 3, 4 years running, doing whatever the hell I'm doing, keeping the secrets because I was raised properly. So I'm not doing nothing that's too overt, but it still wind up coming back home eventually. The cops knocked on the door at some point, like, hey, look. And then guess what happens at the end of that story? My mother and my father both came to the court dates, persist every single one of them. But guess where the thing came to reality at? When the father's there and looks like, this is what you've been doing? You not like, it's more like, for me, I felt like I disappointed him. Like, right. Not like, I should get beat at. It's like, I don't ever want to feel that feeling. Like, of course I feel like I disappointed my mother too, but it's like to see the look in his face, then he looked at my mother, and then it's like, oh, I did disrespect her too. I ain't even really see. I feel like I had to be a man and do whatever I had to do on my own because I wasn't getting that assistance. Right. And this is how you run into the trouble and circumstances. And we was running the street, so we know exactly what was happening. Right. And even if we made it good, I still have stories of, bro, like if I just had someone to be like, bro, this is another way to go about this. Do you understand that? Like, you don't gotta go about it this way. We can still get this that you want, but let me give you something that you can take with you more than just that material thing that you're going after.
Right. And two parents, there's always, you're a dad, I'm a dad. So you're going to understand this. And obviously we all grew up in our circumstances as well. Really think about it this way. Typically, if my mom did shut me down, it's always good. And this is why it's important to have both, whether they live in a household or not, because as long as you have access to your dad, like, really easy, it'll help make up for it, I guess, when you have access to them easily. So essentially, if I couldn't get something from my mom or whatever it was, support, financial support, whatever it was that I wanted, typically I could go, hey, Pops, what's up, da-da-da. Because typically, that's what the kids do, right? Really think about your dad. So when they run to mommy and they go, da-da-da-da-da, and mommy shut them down, what they do? They run and they sneak off like, hey, daddy, And guess what? More than likely, we may not. And I do it respectfully. If I do honor their request, it's in a way of like not stepping on mommy's toes, but like finding an alternative solution to the point that you're making, right? Offering them a certain situation. So when you don't have that, again, to your point, that's where you kind of lead into those things. But even to what you were saying earlier, MVP, with letting him try to fight to climb up. Right, my 3-year-old daughter, she has this habit. Listen, I'm talking about the lightest bumps and falls, bro. I'm talking about Mrs. Glass, right? Remember the movie Mr. Glass? All right, Mrs. Glass. I'm talking about it could be the lightest situation, and I understand. I'm a girl dad, so I have daughters, so I get it. They're gonna react a little bit more differently, but as their father, I still try to toughen up. Like, this is not that big of a deal, not in that way. Like, I don't say it like that, but I'm like, oh, it's gonna be okay, honey. Like, it's not that bad. Like, let's walk through it. I'm talking about like this, guys. Like, if she feels even any slight of any little pain, I need a Band-Aid. And I'm like, a Band-Aid? You're not even bleeding.
Yeah. Any abrasion, give me a Band-Aid.
like you need a Band-Aid right now. So, when she was younger, I thought it was cute and it was funny. And I was just like, all right, if this is going to give you peace of mind, cool, I'll entertain it. But I'm like, dog, I'm going through these Band-Aids a little too quick. Like, when I need a Band-Aid, I can't find no Band-Aids. And I'm like, yo, you feel like you got a boo-boo for everything. So it's kind of like, and not to say mom enables her, but in my opinion, she does, because when you keep going to get her that little Band-Aid every time, now she just thinks every time she feels a little pain, it's like, oh, a Band-Aid. So when she comes to me and then she goes, Dad, I need a Band-Aid, and she shows me her finger, whatever it is, and I'm like, what happened? She's like, oh, I bumped my leg. And I go and look, and I heard her fall or like bump into a wall. I'm like, dog, it ain't that deep. I'm like, you got, and I'm like, hold on. And I'm like, this is where I kind of need to step in, because I don't want her to grow up and like every little thing is like a dramatic thing. So I'm like, hey, honey, you don't need a Band-Aid. Like, look. And I'm like, look, you're not even bleeding. Look, it's okay. Look. And I'll squeeze the finger and I'll be like, look, do you feel pain now? Like, just the kind of thing. So when you say moms enable and like they're just in nurturing mode, like, or whatever. Yeah. Now, granted, she don't get that Band-Aid, she's gonna be a little upset. She's gonna start that crying. But then, hey, you don't need to cry for that. Like, don't waste your tears. Save your tears for when you're actually sad. Just kind of like helping them navigate with those emotions. Because again, moms are more nurturing, and then the dads are more. So yes, they're girls, but I don't want them to be weak girls where they're like all fragile about every little thing. Like, you can be just as tough as even if I had a son, it would be the same thing. Like, dog, you don't need no Band-Aid. I'm not saying it like that, but you know what I mean. So, I just think that's where that key difference is. There's many things that's needed. To your point, when you said when you saw your father, you felt like you disappointed him. Honestly, that's just a boy to his father energy. Like, I'm gonna tell you something right now. You know how he was young. I'm Haitian, so I wasn't allowed to wear no do-rag. If I wore hung do-rags out my pocket, they already saw the company that I kept. So anything that I was doing was considered like gang related or whatever. Even having earrings in my ear, like anything that they saw like that was like, So guess what? You know me, I'm in the street with you. What am I wearing? I got my do-rag on, got my earrings, whatever I'm doing, I'm cool. If I know my father is within the vicinity, let me tell you how quick that outfit is going to be switched up into a suit, dog. I'm telling you, it's the level of respect. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is. If it's in the DNA, I don't know what it is. Like, my mother, I would try to push it a little bit. Like, hey, Ma, you cool. Like, you ain't gonna, like, but if I knew my dad was coming, the whole outfit changed, bro. My homies were looking at me like, yo, where's your earrings? Like, yo, bro, Pops is pulling up, man. And everyone understood the assignment, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like a thing. So, like, I definitely understand what you mean with that. Yeah, it's like, and even though it was nothing, it was like, dog, I'm just trying to get my waves. Or like, earrings was a style, But to them, nah, you don't want to do that. So it's just, I understand exactly what you meant by when you saw your father. It's just like, yeah, you don't want to disappoint him. You don't want to look bad. And then, yeah, to your point, your mom, you don't want to feel like, damn, I took advantage of you, So now I try to live my life. Honestly, I live my life for me, but then I also live it in a way to where, like, regardless of how I was growing up or regardless of how I feel about my parents, at least they could look back, good or bad, to be like, yeah, we're proud of what you've become. you know, and that's how I try to live through my kids. I didn't have the best childhood at all times, so through those things I make sure that my kids have a to avoid those situations that we had to grow up in. Let's be realistic, you know, to make sure that they're emotionally sound. But you know, that's all that we could really do as fathers. But we got to just really move away from that. We don't need the dad in the household, and we don't need the mom. Like, I get it. You don't like your baby mama. You don't like your baby daddy. I understand that, but that got nothing to do with the kid. We gotta start leaving the kids out of it and do what's best for the kid, so the kid has a better opportunity to grow up, to avoid the mistakes that we as adults are making in this moment. So that way their child doesn't have to suffer the same emotional damage or whatever it is that kid had to grow up with. Because listen, not everyone turns out like us, right? Like we could have went completely dark.
Could have went completely left for sure.
Right. It's a flip of a coin. It's like people have the same origin story, and then you have some people going, yo, like, well, your brother was in the same situation. Why didn't listen? Everyone reacts to everything differently. Everyone reacts to trauma differently. You can't really. So my job as a parent now is to remember, like, yo, when you was a kid and you was going through certain situations, like, you want to put your daughter through that? Is that how you want to move with your child? You know, so, you know, so trying to do all of that. And again, just trying to set the best example while, you know, trying to ensure that my parents are proud of who I become, whether I get along with my parents or not. I think that's very important. Regardless if you like them or not, it's still like I'm a representation of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If that's any indicator. But yeah.
Lost dice.
Don't worry about him. We're gonna get a milk bottle. Remember, he said his phone was dying anyway. So.
Oh yeah, true that.
Or not his phone. Whatever he had cooking was dying. So. But yeah, man. I mean, you know, I don't like it. I mean, it's 51 minutes anyway. I know we said we was gonna keep the pod to an hour, so we was rightfully so. We'll stick to that. But you know, at the end of the day, man, I don't know. I feel like it's wasted opportunity. Obviously, I understand if the mom doesn't want to be in the child's life, or if the dad doesn't want to be in a child. Like, I know dads get the rep for that, but there's moms that do it too. Like, we just need to, the finger pointing and it's listen. As a parent, I can never respect any man that walks off on his children. Same thing for the mom. For some reason, I hold mom a little even higher. I don't know why. Like, I feel like it's almost worse because they were in your body. So for you to walk away from that child, like, you've had a connection with that child forever. So I look at that as kind of worse. But it's terrible on any side, right? And that's where I'm going to go with that. But what movie was I just watching? The Accountant. And because I was getting ready to watch The Accountant too, but I'm like, yo, I don't really remember all the details. I'm so happy I went back to watch that movie because that just triggered a memory from the movie. Their mom walked out on them. I forgot about that. Their mom literally left them because obviously, you know, their son was challenged. They tried to get them help, but the dad was like, nah, like, we're not going to leave him here. Like, I'm going to train him or whatever. And obviously, you know, did what he had to do. But the mom, but I kind of felt for the mom because me and my wife was watching. I'm like, damn, like, how's she going to walk out on her family like that? I know your son has a form of autism. But I'm like, come on, like, why would you walk out on your family like that? Like, you know, but then what my wife was trying to say too is like, it's not that easy because the dad is in the army. So he's constantly out and about. He's not in the household 24/7 dealing with it. And she's dealing with it alone. So it becomes a lot. And when they tried to go put him in a specialized school, the dad didn't even want to do that. So I said, you know what? I understand that aspect too. But still, at the end of the day, I don't believe on quitting on the kids, regardless of the situation. And then it's so funny because if you remember, he had a brother. I forgot. You know, it's funny. I just thought when I saw the trailer for the second one, there was like, oh, he has a brother. And I'm like, he does? Mind you, for the second half of the first movie, it's clearly he has a brother. You get what I'm saying? I just forgot that. But there's the scene where she's leaving them and she's getting in the car and the dad is out there like, yo, what are you doing? Like, like, why would you leave? And she's, you know, telling her reasons. And then dad comes back in because obviously Ben Affleck, the son, when he's younger, is running around the house tripping. So he comes in to hold him and, you know, comfort him and hold him down. And then the younger brother is looking at him. And the younger brother is solid, loves his brother forever, but he's watching his mom, right? So they cut to a scene where he's looking at his mom and his mom is looking at the house. And he's looking at his mom and he literally sticks the middle finger to his mom. And this kid is like 8, 9, I guarantee you. And he sticks the middle finger to her because she's leaving them. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So now and bro, I don't know why I didn't even see that the first time I saw the movie. It's like I forgot all of that, or I didn't even catch that. But he gave her the middle finger. Yeah. So now, and then she gets in a cab and she drives off. Obviously, now in the second movie, give or take, I'm watching it, and then I'm like, yo, and look, I'm sticking on topic, mom and dad's. So she ends up passing away. So Ben Affleck, he's old, obviously he's a grown man, and he wants to go and see her at the at the wake or whatever the case is. So he goes with the dad, and then they get there, and all you see is, bro, she started a whole new family, had a whole new husband. That's crazy. That is crazy. 2 sons. And I'm like, bruh, like, we don't talk about, like, that's not highlighted enough. And I was like, yo, dads get a really bad rep, but for me, it's really on both sides. And to see that, and me, I'm poking fun at my wife. I'm like, I said, damn, like, she went and had a whole nother family, bro, with 2 sons on top. You left 2 sons and your husband.
Did your wife say anything about that? My bad.
Nah, she was just, she was looking at me. I know I'm poking a bear, so I try not to, I don't get too crazy, but I hit her with the what you got to say about this one here? This is diabolical. Because I'm like, yo, you don't walk out on your fan. I get it's tough, but I was like, she was still tripping for that, or at least she still should have been in her kids' lives.
Yeah, I mean, because if you started a whole new family, then you had the capability of staying with the family that you started with in the first place, but you left one family for another. I feel like that sounds like there's a little bit more in the background if she did that.
Well, no, it's just because her son had autism and it was too much for her to deal with it. So it was too overwhelming. That's why she left. She felt like she was alone in the battle or whatever, however she felt, which I'm going to acknowledge that. I understand that. Like, your husband's in the army, he's out there serving, so he's not in the house 24/7 dealing with that. But I'm just saying, as a mom, listen, it don't matter what parent, no parent should be walking on their kids. But the mom, though, that has to do something to you psychologically. Because, again, the mom is the nurturing one. The mom is the one that kind of gives you that, like, dad is going to toughen you up and mom is going to give you that softness. That's that balance. So when you see your mom flopping on you, especially like, I mean, you're not going to remember if your mom breastfed you or not, but I'm just saying, like, as a baby, typically the babies are more on the mom than the dad. So that connection, that's why when he left, and now in the second movie, you see the younger brother when they finally, not even in the second movie, at the end of the first, when they find each other again, because apparently Ben Affleck disappeared for 10 years. Like, he just, like, and he said he did that because his clientele was dangerous. He didn't want his brother to get hurt. But mind you, his brother is trained just like him, but he's not as nice as his brother, though. Ben Affleck was working him in the movie. But at the end of the day, he was like, yo, dog, like, it's been 10 years since I've seen you or heard from you. And then he was pissed. And that's where he took that, they had a quick fight scene to be like, yo, why would you go see mom? Like, she left us. Like, it's because of you, dad is dead, because their dad died at that funeral, because they got into a scuffle. Someone pulled out a gun, one of the cops, and then they was going to shoot Ben Affleck, but the dad stepped in front of him to save him. So I'm not going to hold you. That army dad, yeah, he was on his tough love energy, but he didn't play about his kids, though. He was on it. He was on his dad duties all the way. So, Happy Father's Day to that man right there. I mean, he's dead in the movie, but I love that movie because I feel like as fathers we get a bad rep, and I understand there's examples out there, but there's examples on both sides. But fine, we want to highlight the fathers. I felt like that was a really good depiction of the Uno card. Okay, what are we gonna say now that she walked out in the family? Now Mr. Army Man has both his sons. He has to raise them. He's training them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's rocking and he's taking bullets for his kid. So opposed to like bailing on his son, he stuck it out, raised them. Obviously, you've seen the movie, you see how he turned out. He's a problem. Yeah, he has to, do weird things to cope. But at the end of the day, he's a problem.
Right.
Super smart, intelligent, martial arts master, you know, everything you could, you know what I'm saying? So it was nice to see that dynamic, because God, you know, as fathers, we get the short end of the stick. So it's really nice to see it on the other end. And again, I was hitting my wife with the I was just hitting her with one of these. I was like, how you feeling, baby? How you feeling about that? So, but yeah, man, we need both, man. And if you didn't have both, you know, we're not going to walk around and pretend like that's not a missed opportunity. It definitely is. And again, everyone reacts to things differently, whether you come out on the light side or the dark side, but we're not going to act like not having both doesn't impact. Some just cope with it better than others.
Absolutely.
That's all. But anything you want to add? If not, we could call it a night, man. I know we haven't done this in a long time, but I'm happy to be back. We will try to be more consistent, getting everyone look at Sway. I'm about to kick Sway out. Sway, like get Sway out of here. But yeah, anything you want to add before we chop it up? Well,
no, I don't think there's nothing more I need to really add. As you said, both parents are needed. I think parents should also stop weaponizing their kids for sure, you know, against each other when they separate. I ain't gonna speak about that, but like, to me, I feel like that's always like a horrible thing to do to your child. If y'all have issues with each other, that y'all should separate yourself from the child and deal with that between yourselves, but don't ever bring your kid into it. Don't have your kid do something like lie for you to the other parent for whatever reason. I think you just take away so much from the kid. Pretty much, you know, two-family household, fathers important, all that is important at the end of the day.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Listen, everyone that tuned in today, or everyone that will watch this episode after, we appreciate you guys. I know we've been gone a very long time. Life just be lifing, if that makes sense, right? Things just be happening. So look, well, you know, what's today? Is today Tuesday? Wednesday?
Yeah, today Wednesday.
Is it? Do we want to make that commitment live? Wednesdays? Is Wednesdays? Wednesdays? The middle of the week?
The middle of the week is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I feel maybe we should chop it up. I feel like the weekends might be better in a way, because
look, all good.
You try to,
I said whatever you guys want, man.
Yeah, we chop it up. We'll chop it up.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, this is your boy Prada. This is your boy MVP. We're gonna say goodnight to you on behalf of Sway and Dice. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week.
At this time, I'm going to ask you to fasten your seatbelts.
I got